design digital artwork during nap time, sell it while you sleep, and wake up to some money. Today, I'm going to show you what digital art is, some of the easiest products to get started with, and how to get your first sale without 10-hour days. So if you're a busy mom who's wanting some income that fits into your life, you're in the right place. So grab some coffee, maybe a snack. Let's open Canva, maybe Procreate, and let's get you paid. So, what's digital art? It's art you can make on a device. You save it as a file, and then you get to deliver it to your customers instantly. It can be original drawings, graphics, lettering, templates, or even layouts. You can use tools like Canva, Procreate, Affinity Designer, Adobe Fresco, Photoshop, Illustrator. You can pick your favorite. Try to keep it simple. Don't try to download all of them and learn all of them at once. You will lose your mind, I'm pretty sure. You can sell files like JPEGs, PDFs, PG cut files, brushes, fonts, and templates. You're not shipping anything. You're delivering instant downloadable files for your customers to print or use digitally. And yes, you can make money. People buy digital files all the time for use at school, to make their life easier, for their small business, for their planners, for their workout routines, for their art projects, for their clothing. The sky's really the limit here. Price ranges are depending on what you create. You will have some lower price ranges, $2 to $8 range, and then you can also have bundles of products together going around $100. So it really does depend on what you're selling. And the profit margin is high because you don't have material cost, you don't have a lot of overhead and inventory cost. You're putting in time, you're putting in the blood, sweat, and tears, and the mental thoughts and work. So we learn how to batch. So some of the fastest digital products you can start with. That's going to be something like printable planner pages, meal plans, chore charts, habit trackers, reward charts, reward certificates like they have for banquets at school ceremonies, coloring pages, wall art, seasonal prints, scripture prints, affirmations, Canva templates for invitations, business cards, something that is just a couple of pages or that uses the same pattern throughout multiple pages. It's going to be one of the fastest products that you're going to be able to make. So, what do we need to get started today? You're going to need a device. So, I would recommend either a computer, a laptop, or an iPad. I'm sure you could do this on your phone. Don't ask me how. I'm mostly blind. That's not for me. I'm not the teacher. Not today. I'm not the teacher for that. And you're going to need a design app. You can use the free version of Canva. Your options will be limited with the free version, but you have Canva, you have Procreate. That's one of the easier drawing softwares to get started on. Adobe Fresco, if you have an iPad, that is currently free, and you can pick any of those. Procreate is pretty cheap. Affinity Designer isn't super expensive either, but pick a software. Just one to learn and get super comfortable with before you start adding more. And you're going to need a place to sell your product. Etsy is super beginner friendly. You have Gumroad and Shopify if you want your own storefront. You could also do private messages and get paid through PayPal or something like that. But something like Etsy is already going to have the shopping cart in and a process set up for you to plug and play. You'll want some mock-ups, and what mock-ups are photo ads for your product. They're going to show people visually what you're giving them. So let's talk about a quick plan. I'm going to start from zero and have this listed this week. You're going to pick your niche. Pick something you already know. Since this is your first product, why don't you just pick something that you're into, that you struggle with? We don't want to reinvent the wheel right now and go learning something because we're going for quickness right now. We're learning how to do this. So pick your life. So say you're a busy mom that has to plan this week's meals. Every Sunday is meal plan day. And what are you going to need with a meal plan? You're going to need a grocery list. So you're going to figure out how to do this effectively, something that you yourself would use because we're picking you as a niche this week. Do you do this digitally? Do you have it on a printed out list? Make it that way. And now that you have your plan, let's make sure people want to buy it. So hop on Etsy and type in your idea and see what it auto-completes. Does meal plan show up? It probably does. And once you find one or better idea from that auto-populate, go ahead and make 3 matching variations of this product running with the meal plan. Make it in minimalist, make it in bold, make it in neutral, or whatever 3 themes you want. Don't change anything but the themes. And then you have your first 3 products. Create listing images, which are your mock-ups. You want a cover image. You want details of your product, lifestyle images, how it's being used, and then a mock-up with a benefits list and another mock-up with what's included and also the download and how they get their product is also another great photo. And when you were doing your research, you can probably notice prices. Sometimes they're all over the board, but you don't really want to look at the ones that have 1,000 templates in one. Go down to the ones the real people are making. They're not going to be near as many pages. And see if there's an average price popping up over and over. If not, just go ahead and price your first bundle for $69, and then you can always adjust after a few sales. I want you to pause here and decide your niche, the audience you're going to sell this product to. I want you to go ahead and comment it below, and now we're going to talk about a routine. So I want you to take 10 minutes and pick one problem this audience has. You pick your product, and then after that, I want you to go ahead, hop on Etsy and validate it. And remember, we're not taking forever. 10 minutes. If it took you 10 minutes to think of the idea, you can have another 10 minutes. We're new at this. So we found what is selling on Etsy. Hop over to Canva, over to Procreate, and spend 20 minutes making your template. That means no overthinking, no over-designing, 20 minutes. Then once that 20 minutes is up and you have your base product, I want you to go ahead and take another 15 minutes and use the brand boards. Those might be a pro Canva feature, but definitely worth it, to make color palettes. And you can do your product in 3 different colors in that 15 minutes. Now, for the next 15 minutes, go ahead and start making those mock-ups. This one might take a little bit longer than 15 minutes because you also want to put a slide, what's included, another one for the benefits, another one for how to download. So that's going to be taking some time and typing things up. Remember, you're going to want a lifestyle mock-up, a close-up, and a cover page. So this is going to take you a little while to get the hang of it. So I would say maybe 30 minutes. And then you're going to go ahead and export these files. And then you're going to repeat this weekly. Ideally, get this process down to an hour. If you're making your own art in Procreate for this or another drawing software, let's go ahead and say 2 hours. That means an hour for drawing and an hour for creating the rest of your project. And as you do this every week, you're going to find what works best for you, you're going to find shortcuts, and you're going to get more efficient at it. Now that we have our product ready to export, let's say you decided on a printable meal planner. We want to go ahead and test out that print. Or if you decided to make an invitation that they can edit, that's fine as well, but you still want to print it out. Whether at home, if you don't have a printer, you want to go to the library, you need to print out, you need to check for quality, make sure everything looks good, make sure everything is readable, and when you're also on quality, when you're naming your files, let's make sure and name them something clear, and customers going to be able to remember. If it's a meal planner, name it meal planner, and then the theme after that. That way, if they're trying to find this product a year from now, hopefully they can search in a common term like meal planner and be able to find the purchase. Now we've done our test and everything looks good, and our pricing, we saw some numbers when we were researching, and if they were a little all over the place, let's just start right in the middle and we can adjust if needed. Alright, so now let's talk about traffic. Etsy is going to give you a little bit of free traffic, so that's why I suggest going with Etsy. They already have an audience. Pinterest, you can post 1 or 2 pens. You can make those in Canva. You can make your mock-ups in Canva. You can add keywords to your pin title and your description, and those will live on Pinterest. And Pinterest is a huge visual search engine. You can also go in and share some of your images from Etsy directly to Pinterest. So I would do both of those. And then if you have other social media, what you can do is the printout that you made to test your product, as long as everything looks good on it, you can go ahead and record yourself, make a short reel, 10 seconds long, and use that on Instagram, TikTok, Etsy has a video slot as well, but you can show yourself using the product. Or if it's an invitation, you can hold it up and show the product so people can see it in use, or they can see what it actually looks like. And you're going to want to go ahead, and if you have an email list, you're going to want to email your people and let them know too, hey, I made this cool thing. If you need a meal planner, if you lose your grocery list all the time, if you go to a grocery store and don't know what to buy because you haven't even made a grocery list, maybe this will work for you. But if you don't let your people know, they're not going to know. They're not. We're bombarded with so many things that if you're not like, hey, you guys, they'll have no idea. And don't be too worried about bugging them, because chances are, even if you said it 15 times a day, they may have not even seen it. So we're not going to overthink about that either. So we have our first product, and then we also made it 3 different ways. So technically we have our first 3 products. Now, we're not going to move on to our next product. We're going to go ahead and make 7 more variations of this product. We can do it in different designs, different artwork. We want the core content to stay the same, but we want to get as much as possible from this one product. And just think, if you made it once in pastels, once in watercolors, once in neutrals, once in holiday theme. How many holidays are there? In every holiday theme. That's a different product. We've gone from 1 product to 10 products. Once you've got 10 of the same product, then you should have the batching down fairly well for this specific product. And you should have a pretty good system in place where it would be a decent time to go ahead and say, where do I want to work on next? What's the next step? What other product will work in my shop? Alright, now let's talk about common mistakes. Before we get out of here, let's talk about things to try to avoid. Over designing. I'm definitely guilty of this. You want to keep it readable. You don't want to put too much clutter. White space is nice. You don't want too many different fonts. Stick to 2 fonts. You won't want it looking all jumbled. You want it nice and cohesive. And you don't want to ignore reviews or issues if customers do try to contact you. If they contact you with a good review, comment back. Let them know thank you, that you're appreciative of that. If they have an issue, message them back nicely and let them know you see it and you will assist them to the best of your ability. Quitting too early. This is the long game. Every now and then people do get quick success, but it can take a while, and sometimes it's scary, and those first few sales are very validating, but they can definitely take a while. And I think that about wraps it up for this video. We went from start to finding something simple, and hopefully you have an idea and you are ready to get started. I have a new freebie if you want to grab it. It is a quiz to figure out which product that you might like the most, and an AI prompt to help you with themes and getting that product actually created. So if you think that's something you would enjoy, make sure you go ahead and pick that up and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you would like to see next. Alright guys, have a great day, and I'll see you again real soon.